Today in VR, well, just happy QUESTmas, everybody. It is the Quest 3 launch week, and we've had our hands on it for 48 hours now, so we're going to go into how our experience has been with the headset, what games we've played, what's our thoughts on any accessories that we picked up, because there are a couple of disappointments, but overall it's been a solid launch. I'm very excited for the Quest 3, and I'm excited for everyone to get their hands on it. So whether you have got your hands on it or you're getting it later, or maybe you're just waiting for the bigger games to launch, that's so great. You're still going to have fun in this big 1 hour 40-minute episode. So let's talk Oculus. Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 106. I'm your host, as always, Dan from Playtest VR, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always. It is Samson. How are you doing? And happy QUESTmas to you.
Yes. That is me, Samson, live and in color. Happy QUESTmas from a few belated QUESTmas, I guess. I don't know. QUESTmas, what's it happen once every 3 years? I love it.
Exactly. So I think the whole week is QUESTmas, right? I think the whole week counts.
We got like a Hanukkah Kwanzaa situation. It's not just one day. It's like a...
Sure.
I don't think you can use yeah. I mean, I guess you can. You can use QUESTmas because you do.
Also,
but I feel like we gotta use something that's many days if it's,
Also, not a lot of people have got it yet. We've had pre-order delays. We've had shipping delays. We've had delays which have actually not become true and actually just come on the same day.
And been on times, yeah.
And we've had some Quest people got it like 3 days early, from Best Buy or Amazon or such. So I think it just applies to the whole week and maybe the whole month, because we are happy QUESTmas, everyone.
Not to spoil my future thoughts, but, if you haven't bought it yet, maybe wait.
Ooh, all right. So this is going to be a little bit of a different show. All right. Obviously, we've had the Quest for almost 48 hours now as recording. Probably not exactly that amount, but let's just say 48 hours. We're going to go through essentially our initial thoughts, the hardware, the software we've played, and accessories that we bought. Kind of the Quest after 48 hours. Quest
a rundown.
A rundown.
A nice rundown.
Not a review. There's a lot of reviews on YouTube, and I don't know how they can do it because a lot of them had them for just 4 days, and I was very impressed. I was like,
we don't do reviews here on LTO. We just talk about our impressions. We have a lot of impressions.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions. So first things first, for everyone who's listening and watching, let us know in the comments or in our Discord what some of the games that you first played with the Quest, what for some of the stuff that, what was your first impressions when you saw it? Because the box is small, as we'll get into in a moment. So yeah, let us know below. We're curious to hear about it, but let's kind of get straight in there, Samson, because there's no point going into what we've been playing like we normally do, because we'll cover that as we get on later on. Tell me first, before you even got the Quest, what was the buying experience like? Because you sent me a video and it made me laugh. So what did you do?
So I was in about that pre-order business, okay? So I showed up at Best Buy about 20 minutes before Best Buy opened, and I was surrounded by empty parking spaces. There was one guy in a truck, but about 5 minutes to 9, he walked into Best Buy because he was going to work. So at about 9 a.m. Eastern, Best Buy opened the gates, so to say, and I walked in. And they said, "Can we help you?" I can't imagine Best Buy often has people walk in right at open.
No.
And I said, "Yeah, you can help me. I'm here for Quest 3. And they kind of looked at each other and they were like, in the warehouse? We put those out? I think they're in the warehouse. So one of them went to the back, so to say. And about 10 minutes later came to the front with my Quest. I got a 512, and they had no accessories at this Best Buy, so I just bought my 512, and I was about to be on my way, Dan, but there was a hiccup at checkout.
What happened?
The guy scans it. Burp, burp. Let's try the other code. Burp. No code's working. He's like, let me try the other one down there. Goes down there. Then he's like, hey, yo, to one of the other Best Buy employees,
This is a full reenactment here.
Of course. Do you think maybe it's not available because we open an hour before all the other district Best Buys? And so that was it. They couldn't technically sell me the Quest until all the district opened at 10.
So they had me. Did you have to wait till 10? No.
I did in-store pickup on my phone and bought it through that, and then they handed it to me.
Oh, easy.
It took about 25 minutes, but by 9:30, I was out of there with my Quest.
You were out of there with your Quest, which is great. And did you? So obviously you didn't pre-order. It was the same with me. I kind of just woke up when I woke up, you already had it because of the time difference.
Yeah, you live in the past, man. Stop living in the past.
It's like, God damn it. The worst part being on the West Coast for launches when everyone else gets it before you and such. But I woke up and I went on the Best Buy's website and they said they only have 2 available in each store. So I bought mine online. I didn't buy any of the accessories. They had every accessory on there apart from the knuckle straps, I think.
Oh, big fancy guy lives near the nice Best Buy.
But they only had 2 of everything, basically. They only had 2 of everything, which was weird. But I put the order in, which was good because then when I went after work, they were already sold out of their 2 because I obviously got one and the other one was
you took half of their supply, dude. Come on.
What cool thing was, I don't know if you noticed in Best Buy, but at the where the Quest is, like the display, they had the Quest 2 and the Quest 3 right there, and the Quest 3 was available to like try and such. Like you could just pick it up and try it. And the demo thing wasn't working, but it was cool that they had that because the Quest 2 just sits there. You can't really try it. Where the Quest 3 you can easily put it on. And when I did it, because I was gonna pick it up and I was like, hold on, let me just have a look at the stand. And when I put it on, it was just had like an error message on the screen. You know how like when you connect your Quest to the computer and it says, would you like to I don't know, what's it, user permissions for the USB or something, like the security thing comes up.
Yeah.
Basically that was up. And I already immediately saw, I was like, wow, look how sharp look how sharp it is.
Look how sharp this error message is.
This error message is so sharp. But yeah, I just went in to pick up. And then I was going to get the Elite strap because I heard horror stories about the soft strap, which we'll get into later on. But they said they had one in stock and they couldn't find it. They looked everywhere. I was there for 15 minutes and they couldn't find it. So when I went home, I ordered it online and I just picked it up this morning instead.
From that same Best Buy?
From the exact same Best Buy.
They found it. That's good they found it.
They found it. But
is it the standard Elite strap, so to say? Non-battery?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just the non-battery one. It's temporary for now, but yeah, I'll get into that in a moment. But did you pick up any accessories in the end as well?
Yes.
You go back?
So Dan, after I left, I got home. I started to set up my Quest. I was installing custom songs, things like this. And throughout that process, I was like, this thing is not comfortable. So I pre-ordered, and by pre-ordered, I mean then I ordered the controller grips, battery Elite strap, and the silicone facial interface.
Yep.
And are we talking about accessories now? You want me to just go
into it? We'll get into accessories. I just wanted to know what you bought, but we'll get into like why you made those decisions.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. That's everything I bought, Dan. I think.
So that's everything you bought. And obviously we both went for the 512. I want to say a massive shout out to the Patreons, because we both used some of the Patreon money, which was very helpful especially, I can speak for myself, to go from the 128 price to go to the 512 made it very easy because of the Patreon. So thank you. Thank you so much.
How much do you have on there already? Did you install every app?
Yeah. Okay, so let's go into that. Let's go into the first experiences. So we're straight away when I was in Best Buy, I realized how small the box was, and I think I tweeted this yesterday where it doesn't matter how many unboxings or boxes or reviews or pictures I've seen, the box is way smaller than you anticipate. It's so tiny, and that's because the Quest itself, once you remove the head strap, well, actually, with the soft head strap, you can barely see it anyway. But if we when you remove the big facial cover, which is quite large, I think because you can now extend it back and forth, it is so small. The Quest is like tiny.
I'm pretty certain that's partially why they didn't package it with the Elite strap, is just so they could fit it in a box. Honestly, the box is about just a couple inches bigger than the Quest Pro controller box.
Oh, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that's. Oh wait, Samson's got his boxes.
Yeah, here we go. What's in the box? Those are the
Yeah, damn.
boxes.
Yeah, not a huge difference. Yeah, not a huge difference on the audio. There's it's like a little bit bigger. It's probably 30% bigger or something like that. But yeah, my initial impressions, I got the box. I had it sitting there for a while. I didn't touch it for ages because I was making dinner and such, and I was trying my best not to go
Didn't you
into
get
it.
it in the morning? Oh no, you got it after.
No, I got it after work, and then essentially I opened it up. It was as expected because obviously I saw it in the Best Buy store, and I put the strap on immediately, and I thought, oh, actually, this is true. This is quite comfortable with the soft strap, and everything. I was like, this is actually pretty good, and I went through the setup, which was really easy. On your phone, you could scan a QR code. The pass through straight away disappointed me because it was at night, and I was in a bedroom with
You had
like
no lights.
I had light on, but it was not like sunlight, right?
You need light.
It was like yellow light, and it was so grainy and such. And I was like, this feels like maybe a little bit of an upgrade on the Quest Pro's pass through, but it ain't like crazy or anything like that. That's that my initial impression was like slightly disappointed on the actual pass through, which we'll get into more in a moment. But then what I did is as soon as I got in, obviously it's as sharp as anything. It's night and day difference from the Quest 2. And I went in and I went to download. Didn't download every game that I had, but there was like 480 gigs of internal memory for the 512, and I think it's down to 350.
Nice.
So the 128 I would have blown through if I had downloaded what I downloaded, and I did it.
You got Medal of Honor.
Medal of Honor was the first thing I pressed go. I was like, this is the first. I haven't played it yet. That's the first.
1 hour later.
But how was yours? Obviously, yours is a little different. You took the day off work, right?
I did.
So how was your experience when you came home? What was your initial thoughts when you had the actual Quest in your hands?
Yeah, it was. There's a lot of clarity, so much clarity, and much less of a binocular feeling. So wider. I noticed the FOV and the clarity.
The FOV is significantly wider than I don't think many people mentioned, or like at least Meta didn't really kind of push that down. You're right. It's very
I think
wide
they didn't want to set expectations. I think it's better to say it's the same, and then you're like, "Whoa, this is good," as opposed to being like, "It's 120," and you're like, "No, it's 105."
No, it's a big difference.
I noticed it. Yeah.
For people who don't have the Quest 3, just to kind of give them a little bit idea, is that when you're wearing the Quest 2, you feel very tunneled, like it's like tunnel vision, like you're wearing binoculars. You don't notice it after a long time of playing the Quest 2 because you get used to it. But once you try something like the PlayStation VR 2 or something with a bigger FOV, going back to the Quest 2, it's like, oh, you're back to like tunneled again, right? But this one, you can tell like the vertical distance is still almost the same, but it's just wider. So you can see much more. And like I move my eyes to the right and it almost gets my like full vision.
What setting are you using on the
IPD? Spacer? Oh, the setting spacer I've got the closest possible.
Yeah, so I've got this problem, Dan, because I had it as close as possible and I was loving it. But my beautiful long eyelashes, they graze the lens.
Really? Oh, wow.
It pisses me off to no end. So I have to put it on the second setting. But at the same time, I'm like, I want the FOV. So I might trim my eyelashes.
I could just imagine you going to a beauty salon and just being like, "Yeah, I would like my eyelashes trimmed," and I'd be like, "You got the best, beautiful eyelashes ever," and it's like, "Yeah, but it's affecting my VR." That's quite funny. Just
Yeah.
shave them completely off, just like completely
Yeah.
snip. Who's gonna
I
notice
don't.
in VR? Who's gonna notice in VR?
No one. It might even help track my eyes.
So, did you go in and install a bunch of games, or did you handpick what you wanted to install?
I mean, the first thing I did was I got all the Team Beat ports set up. So I installed Doom, uh, Wolfenstein, all of them, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then I got my 2000 or 2500 synth writer songs on there.
That's fair.
Um,
That must have taken you
and
a while, right?
it was
Or
not fast.
no?
Um, and yeah, I don't know what I have on there right now. I wanted to get all the apps. What I focused installing was the mixed reality apps and apps that I knew had Quest 3 updates or Quest 3 updates coming.
Yeah.
I haven't hopped into a lot, but I mean, I hopped into a bunch, but not everything that I've
Yeah.
installed. So to say.
Likewise. That's fair. Did you notice anything with the Wi-Fi? Because for me, I clicked install on a lot of games and I was like, okay, I'll set it and forget it. And as I was about to set it and forget it, I had a quick look and already like 5 or 6 games already or downloaded and fully installed, like way quicker than the Quest 2. Because the Quest 2, you download it, which is one thing, which is generally fast enough when you download it. But it takes a while to install. Like it's just spinning for a while. I didn't notice like it installed incredibly quickly on the Quest, and then I just left it and let it
It was
charge
fast.
whilst everything was downloading. But I don't know if it was to do with the new Wi-Fi 6E chip in there. I don't know. I think
Do you
my
ever-
Wi-Fi is just 6. I don't think it's 6E or anything like that. But definitely the install rate was so much quicker.
I
When I
didn't
noticed.
really think about it much, but
Mm.
now that I look back on it, it was probably going pretty quick. I wasn't installing games I was trying to immediately hop in on, but I do remember seeing you get a little pop up like this game finished installing, and now that you mention it, I'm like, damn, those were coming up pretty quickly.
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my first things where I was like, oh, okay, this chip is upgraded big time because that's it on a flat screen console like a PS4 to PS5. That's what you notice the most is the loading times and such. And with the install times, it was so quick, and I was so happy to see that, which was great. Okay, I think let's go into
Wait, I just want to make sure.
yeah,
My initial impression, I want to get this point across that the
yeah.
clarity is insane.
Clarity is insane. It
I
is.
have like an anecdote to go with this, Dan, in that I messed with the IPD slider.
Yeah.
I did every setting, and it was only blurry for maybe 15% of the settings. Like
I was
it
about
was
to say.
just clear. Yeah.
I was about to say the only reason why. So my IPD, I measured it through my phone, is around 63 and a half to 64. But I put it on the min, and the only reason why I can't put it on the min is not because it's blurry, because it is super clear. It's because of my nose. My big nose is
You
just
hit the
trapped.
lenses?
It trapped in between the lenses. So I was like, okay, I need a little bit more give. So I left it on 63, which is like comfortable enough, which is great. But yeah, you're right. I was going up to like 66, 67, 68, and I was like, it's still really clear. Like this
Yeah.
is amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. There's the sweet spot is massive. There's no what I found with the PSVR 2, it really annoyed me, but the sweet spot's small on the PSVR 2, so you really got to adjust it to try and get it right so the text isn't blurry. This is you put it on, you're good to go. There's no faffing around with the comfort as such, unless it depends on your strap. But it's not you're not faff. It's more the comfortable part of the strap is letting it down rather than the actual headset getting it in the right place, because it's always good to go.
Yeah, I don't find it the most comfortable, but it's not because of me trying to find clarity.
The actual Quest itself, or with the head strap?
Yeah, I need a Halo strap, Dan. I need a Halo strap.
Yeah,
I can't get that comfortable in this, even with the Elite strap. Like, it's better than the other one. The
yeah.
stock strap, I'm just like, why is this thing stuck on my face? Like, I don't know if you could tell in the audio version, but I stuck my hands on my face with a whole lot of pressure. Um, and yeah, it just felt like way too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need my Halo strap.
That's a good point. Let's kind of move on to more of the accessories slash like the other stuff, i.e., the controllers, and maybe let's start with the strap itself. Obviously, kind of spoilers. We already said, we both replaced the strap. You've got the battery one. I've got the Elite strap. I feel like for both of us, this is a temporary solution as we're waiting for Bobo to actually
Yeah.
bring out some
Yeah, I'll probably
stock.
return this or
Did you
give it to
manage
my
to get the
brother.
Bobo when it came on Amazon for 5 minutes or
No,
not? No,
no.
yeah, I'm sure they will come again. I think because of Prime Weekend or week, it's been a bit of a mess. So hopefully it comes out tomorrow. But um, the strap, my initial thoughts when I wore the strap, I was like, oh yeah, everyone who said, all the content creators and such who got the initial impressions, not their reviews, but their initial impressions. Um, you good there?
Yeah, sorry. I took off a sock, and when I took it off, it just like I accidentally slammed my desk. I was like, oh, I hope nothing fell.
um, yeah, all the initial impressions, everyone said the strap was good and it's not like a need to replace or anything. Obviously, bearing in mind, all of those people had around 40 minutes of time with it, and it's not enough time. And I can see why they said that because, to be fair to them, for the first 40 minutes or so, I was like, this
You're
strap's
good.
actually pretty good. This is actually really comfortable. The weight of the Quest does feel less because it's closer to your face. Like there is a considerably
All right, see,
difference,
Dan,
but go
the
on.
amount of times that I went to adjust the Quest by touch, like I used to,
Pushing it.
push the bottom of it, like the flat part of it.
Yeah.
But when I go to do that on this, I just like shove my finger into the depth sensor, like, and I don't hit anything. I'm just like, oh, I guess I have to use my hands here and
Yeah,
actually
I
tilt it.
noticed that. You got to be careful by like touching those little three things in the front. But okay, so with the strap, the soft strap that is, eventually after like 40 minutes to an hour of use, especially the back right one, the way it's like a plastic. You see, for the audio listeners, I'm showing this on the screen. For the audio
It's how you
listeners,
adjust it. It's the thing there that,
yeah,
yeah.
you've got the two adjusters on the back, which are plastic. They're wrapped around in the soft strap material, but they are plastic, and they're similar to the OG. There's the Quest 2 soft strap as well, but this one on the right especially started digging into my to my head like quite a lot, and it just became uncomfortable. And I kind of endured it for like a little bit just to say, and then I was like, okay, I've had enough of this for a little bit. I'm gonna put it down, and then when I gave it to my partner to try out a few games, which we'll get onto later on, she played it for 15 minutes and then she was like, yeah, I feel like especially on the back, it like really hurts. And then she pressed her face, like when she took it off, like her whole face was red.
Yeah, that's where I feel it. I don't really. It doesn't bother me so much in the back. I just don't think it really like supports much. I mean, if you want to lay in bed and watch, sure, it's the way to do it.
Yeah, it's
Um,
kind of a shame to me because I was hoping it for I could swap onto this strap now and again, or maybe when I do a fitness app or something like that, have something lighter. But no, this thing now is it's going to go back in its box, just like the Quest 2 one did. And the time I sell the Quest 3, in about 3 or 4 years' time, this will go back on it. that's,
nice.
and that's where we're at with the strap, which is a bit weird because obviously they've got the orange and blue one that you can buy, which look cool, but I can't recommend them because why would you
Yeah, not at
spend
all.
$50 on the stock head strap again? Right?
Yeah, Dan, I gotta say, I wish the Elite strap. I feel like I heard somebody say this on some VR news outlet or something, but I do wish they packaged the Elite strap with the 512.
I agree.
You're
For
paying
the
$150 extra. I mean, yeah, you get that more space. You're getting the more space, but give me a little something. Give me a little
I
something,
agree.
something.
I think they try to sweeten the deal with the extra 6 months of Meta Quest Plus, but I feel like they should have put that in both of them, just like how Xbox always does in like a month of gold or something like that.
How
Like put
much? How much was your strap?
my strap was it was 95 Canadian, so what, like 75 around that.
Okay. And they're offering 6 months of MetaQuest, which is what, 60 or 70 USD for the whole year. So it's 30 or 40, I
35.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I would have much preferred if it came packaged with the Elite strap. I think that would have been way better. Because with the Quest 2, it's a little different. They did, it's $299 for the base model. And you could tell because now going back, when I look back on it, strap is terrible and the facial interface is god awful on the Quest 2. It's like it's thin as anything. I'm like, how could you? It
I
feels
mean,
like
yeah, they
I'm
literally sent us new ones. Yeah.
yeah, it was really bad. But with the Quest 2, 3 being so expensive, you would expect better. And kind of, we'll get to the facial interface in a second. But yeah, it was kind of sad that okay, now we need to upgrade the strap again. That's another $100 or however much you're going to pay on it, depending
I
on.
just built it in, yeah.
Yeah, you might as well build it in. So how is the Elite strap with battery then for you?
Yeah, it's more comfortable than the stock by far, and I get the battery. But it's still, I still long for the days of
The
my
Halo.
Halo strap.
And is it quite heavy with the battery, or does it do the
The whole
counterweight really
thing,
well?
I mean, it's countering. It's doing the best it can to counter. It's not light. It's definitely not light. But I don't. I feel like I'm in VR so much. I don't ever really think like
You
I
get
have
used
this
to it.
weight. I have a brick on my head. Yeah, but like holding it outside of VR, like this thing feels heavy.
Mm,
The
yeah,
battery is
mine just falls.
thick, dude. Yeah, the battery is thick.
Yeah, the battery looks like it's almost the size of the actual Quest itself. Like the actual, I'm
Yeah,
not lying.
almost. Yeah, yeah.
The
That's
the
crazy.
white part of the battery is almost the size of the Quest 3 itself, which is mad.
But yeah,
So
that's
so
that. I
so
think
this will
that's
tie you over, and then you'll probably take it back to Best Buy if you get a Bobo in time or something like that.
Yeah, I'll either try to convince my brother to get a Quest 3 and then, sweeten his deal by giving him this.
Mm.
And or return it and get a Bobo.
Yeah, that's fair. Like it's been funny. The Elite strap for me, I had the Elite strap for the whole of the Quest 2's life cycle and absolutely loved it. For some reason, and I might just not found the right comfort yet. It tries to like always slide off my head, like above me, which is really odd. And I don't know if I've just not got it right yet, the comfort or something like that. But it's not as comfortable
Yeah.
as what I remember it to be.
It's hard for me to tell where my discomfort's coming from. It could be from the fact that I also really want a pleather interface. I'm not a fan of the silicone very much. It's better than the, scratchiest thing they give us, but I don't like the feeling of the silicone after a while. It gets like hot and sticky kind of.
Okay, so you're talking about the facial interface, but
I
you're talking
am.
about the one that you added, right? The one that you bought on top.
Yeah, so the ones you buy, so the VR cover ones on the Oculus Quest 2, you kind of you put over. They like you just get a piece of silicone, like a rubber thing, right? This one is all attached. Like I can't take that thing off.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is, I guess, probably why VR cover doesn't have one yet.
Yeah, the actual facial interface, like the actual thing that connects to the Quest, the plastic part, is actually a little bit more complicated than the older one.
Because it's a glasses spacer too.
Yeah. So I think that's why the accessories manufacturers are a bit longer on there, or maybe they just never got access to the Quest for so long. I actually don't mind the facial interface. I do miss the VR cover. I had the leather one.
Yeah.
Which I really like, the memory foam one, which was really nice.
It's so comfy. Dude.
Yeah, it's so much more comfortable and it's thick and such. And I can't wait for that to come out because they've not said anything about it. Right now, VR cover just have these like sleeves, which I'm not too sure about. I think we're getting sent them. So though, maybe next week or in a couple of weeks, we'll have a look and test them out. But They're not the leather one that I've kind of want either. I'm okay with this facial interface though. The stock one, I'm happy with it. The only thing I don't like about it yet, and I haven't tried my supernatural cover over it, but I'm worried
I
if I
don't think
do a
it'll
VR.
fit.
Yeah, I'm worried if I do the VR workout, like it's going to be really gross and sweaty. I don't think it's good for
Yeah,
workouts at all.
I don't think so either.
No, I don't think it's good for
That's
workouts at all. It feels like it's not breathable whatsoever. And also it will just hold all the sweat in, is what I am thinking. So yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see for that. But yeah, of course, I don't think the supernatural cover is going to fit over it, right? Because it's a
yeah,
different shape. So
yeah.
yeah, that's sad. Okay,
It's worth a try, I guess. But yeah.
moving on to kind of you in terms of you also got the knuckle straps.
Yep, I got the knuckle straps.
How
They
how
are
are they?
cool because they attach in the battery
Door. Yeah.
door. Yeah, that's a good word for it. What I don't like is you have to remove the wrist strap, right? And I
Mm.
used to always put the wrist strap around and let the controller dangle while I
Yeah.
did things or
Yeah.
like used my phone. And I can't do that now.
Mm.
You gotta be holding that controller all the time. They do I do kind of like them. They feel kind of a little coarse, I guess, but not it's not overtly coarse. And they work pretty good. They
Yeah.
feel, there's not too much out there. I like it.
Nice.
Will a third party come out with something better and or cheaper? Likely.
Yeah.
But if you're impatient and or don't really care about paying first party prices, I'd say I recommend it. I definitely like the ability to drop, like make it feel like I open my hands and the
Mm-hmm.
controller stays there. Um, that's a big thing. I've only been using the Quest 3 controllers because I did want to give them a try to talk about them on this podcast. So I haven't linked my Pro controllers to it yet. I know
Yeah.
that's a little bit of a aside, but yeah, so that's it. That's it. That's my review. I like them. I wish I could still have the wrist strap thing as well. I get it because people hate that wrist strap thing generally, I think. But I
Yeah.
forget actually their price too, but they're probably overpriced. Sorry.
They're
Yeah.
priced. I think they're another like $40. I think they are, which they are like $10-15 overpriced for sure. But I think that's just it. And plus, because there's pretty much no third party manufacturers who have got their own accessories yet. They're still like they're coming, but like as an early adopter, you're just gonna have to wait. I'm sure by the end of the month, you're gonna have a load available.
Yeah, this is exactly what happened with Quest 2 when it came out. It took VR cover a while. It was in fact a good amount of time from what I remember of VR cover releasing new things. They're like, oh wait, let's release this. Let's try this. And I was like, oh my god, there's
Yeah.
so many cool colors.
VR
So I
cover
imagine, yeah, those things will
VR
happen
cover
again.
did have their leather one at launch because I bought it for launch. But I remember there was slight defect with some of those where it kept leaving like a black mark on people's
Hmm.
faces. That never happened on mine, luckily enough. But yeah, then by the end
Yeah.
of like a year into the
They had
Quest 2,
cooling
that's
ones. They
yeah.
had like ones that had vents. They had it all by
I
then.
liked VR cover's facial interface too, like the plastic part as well, because you can get that colored and such. So yeah, there's a lot that's going to change on this Quest. Like I said, I'm hoping that the strap gets the Bobo comes out with something very close this month, so I can return this one and get one of those, and go from there. Okay, so the final thing on the accessories front, and basically this part, and then in part two, we'll go through all the games and what we've been playing, is the actual controllers themselves. You know, obviously, you said you've been trying them to give them a chance because obviously you have the pro controllers, but how do they compare with the pro controllers in your opinion?
I notice I feel the haptics feel strong, not compared to the Pro controllers, but definitely to the Quest 2 controllers. I feel like I notice the haptics
Yeah,
more on the trigger and just holding them.
they're stronger for sure.
Yeah, I haven't. I haven't really played any rhythm games or anything, so I haven't
Mm,
pushed them. But so there's no reason to me have experienced any tracking issues. But I haven't experienced any tracking issues.
yeah.
I've been using a lot a lot of hand tracking, Dan. Shitloads.
Okay. I didn't know what I thought you were trying to say
No.
something. I was like, I
I
don't know
was
what
thinking of
word you're
censoring
trying.
myself, then I just flew with it. Yeah, I've been using a lot of hand tracking.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I
So
really
what do you think? You like
yeah,
them?
I really like them. The Pro controllers are better in the end of the day because the Pro controllers have a little bit more weight to them, which make them really feel really nice. Um, but on the other hand, these controllers are solid, really good. I've not had any tracking issues with the controller. Bearing in mind, it's only been a few hours. We say 48 hours, but really it's only been a few hours playing with them. Um, I also really love the weight of these as well because I don't know if they weigh more than the Quest 2 controllers, but they definitely feel like it because there's no tracking ring. So most of the weight is centered, right? Your battery is probably your heaviest weight. Um, and that was the biggest thing that I missed about the Quest Pro. I missed the ringless and I missed the having no weight on the actual controllers. And these feel much better. Also, on the grip, on the actual grip itself, the actual grip button is
Yeah,
textured as like the rest of the controller rather than just the more
yeah.
slippery one as the Quest
I
2
think that's
had
on the
as well.
trigger too.
Yeah, the
Am I
Quest
wrong?
2, the trigger and the grip button are both textured
Yeah.
exactly the same as the rest of the controller, which isn't a bad thing. It actually feels a bit nicer. I wish they had maybe a bit more grip on the actual trigger itself, like a bit of a
Yeah, Pro
like
is really slick. You're right.
yeah, the Pro ones and the Quest 2 ones, they were both like I don't know what the material was, but it was like a more of a acrylic
It's
kind
just
of
like a
material.
finish. Yeah, it's just like a smoother finish.
Yeah.
And they are the Pro controllers are noticeably heavier.
Yeah. Yeah. These are getting close though, so they're not super heavy, but the weight being centered makes a big difference. And yeah, the only thing I really would change is the adding some more grip on the actual trigger itself, like adding a bit of grip on there. I feel like that's the Quest
Oh,
4, you
Dan,
know. Yeah.
the one of the coolest controller features though, did you look at the controller wearing the headset?
Yes, I did. Yeah, yeah, with the indicators.
Yeah, the battery indicator is only seen through the headset, which is cool.
Yeah, it's seen on the headset, and there's I think there's 4 dots on the left hand
Yeah.
side, which is nice. But yeah, I really like the controllers. I always thought when I looked at pictures of the buttons and such were quite small, and they're actually fine. The joystick's a little bit small on the smaller side, but it doesn't really matter too much in VR. It doesn't really feel like it's the buttons are a good size, and
You got big
that's the main
hands.
thing. I do have bigger hands. Um, Perfect. That's pretty much it. Just to round off on the actual hardware wise, I thought the Quest 3 was really ugly, and it still is when you look at it in the camera. But looking at it in person, it's actually quite nice. It's smaller. I think it's much nicer than what it looks like on camera and such. You look like a bit of an alien from outer space when you put them on, but that's fine to me. I think the three mixed, the cameras and such. And you know what I have done, Samson? I have ordered from Amazon, which comes Friday. I've ordered screen protectors, which go on each one of these to
That
stop them from
seems
scratching.
silly, I
So
guess.
basically they come in a pack of 9 total,
Who
but
scammed you into these? What company?
nothing. I don't know what the company was. I just saw them on Amazon, and I was like, you know what? I think I don't want fingerprints on them. I would put the protectors on. Not like I think they're gonna break. It's just more of a
I'm
fingerprint thing.
almost surprised they didn't come with the things you got to peel off, like a phone would,
Yeah, it did on the
or
lenses,
like the
but not.
lenses do. Yeah.
It did on the lenses, but not on the actual 3 in the front. Yeah, which is interesting. But overall, I think it's a really cool hardware-wise headset. It's a little bit weird having the headphone jack on the actual strap itself.
Oh, Dan, Dan,
Go on.
how long is it going to take me to get used to reaching for the power on the left side? The
Yeah.
amount of times that I've gone to hit the power on the right side and then been like,
Yeah.
What?
I
What?
I've done the same with the volume button. I keep thinking it's where the IPD is, but it's now on the left side as well. So yeah, you know, a little bit of adjustments, and I'm obviously touching the cameras and such whilst you're trying to fiddle with it and such. So
Oh, I don't
yeah,
want to leave out anything that came with it. So the power adapter that comes is 18 watts. If
and
you're
it's a
interested
cylinder.
in that,
It's a
it is a
cylinder,
cylinder. It is a cylinder.
which is kind of fun. I've never had a cylindrical plug before. I'm rocking square cubes all the time.
I think one of my Google products had like a round one, but yeah, no,
Mhm.
they're not that common.
Yeah, so 18 watts, but it can charge up to 27 watts if needed as
Oh, that's
well.
good to know because I think my Steam Deck one is like way more watts. What? Yeah, watts. Uh,
Steam Deck one must be. It says it's a big machine.
yeah. Unfortunately, my eyes don't work that well, so I can't tell you. But yeah, should we switch up the move on to another part,
Yeah,
if you will?
before we move on to the part, one more quick thing that I forgot to mention. In the tested review of the headset, which is 55 minutes long, but it was a good watch. I'm not gonna lie, to put on the
Wow.
background because he goes through everything and really probably the best review that I saw over the whole thing because it was just really in depth, going through every little bit. And a lot of what he said actually resonated with me after I got the headset. I was like, oh yeah, he's right about the strap. He's right about the mixed reality and such like that. But he mentioned that the actual dock, the $170 Canadian dock, which I think is $140 or something like that USD, that you can buy from Meta's website, doesn't actually come with a power cable or power brick. So you have to use the one that came with your headset, which I think is a bit of a joke because considering you're spending that much money, you
Yeah.
really want that spare cable to kind of take on the go as you have the carrying case maybe. And, you know, yeah.
Dan, it's 45 watts, that Steam Deck one.
Did you Google it instead of looking at Nice, nice. All right, that will
That,
do for part
that might be
one.
too much. Does it ruin things if you over watt? You just like at risk of starting a fire, I think.
If it says 27 watts, it can only do 27 watts. Like if you do
But
45
so
watts, it can't.
what's it do with those other 18 watts? It's just like nah.
Just don't think it takes it. I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
my
But he
electronics
does. I
too
wonder if it
much.
ruins it. That's my real. Anyway, all right. We'll talk more about not this in the next part.
Yeah. In part two, we will. That would do for part one. And in part two, we will go through what we've been playing, our first games, and everything. Actually, first games and everything else that we have been playing over the last few hours. So we will see you then.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
All right, welcome back to part two, which is this is our Quest 3 in review, shall we say, after 48 hours of using it. Let's get into the games. Let's get into what we've been playing. Samson, I'll throw it up to you first. What was the very first thing that you played? He was not prepared for this one, folks.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for the first. Yeah, I'm going to do these out of order just immediately.
Do you want me to
'cause I
say
don't-
what my first thing was?
Yeah,
That might
sure.
be
Why don't you
jig-
say the first thing you did? I don't remember.
The first thing I did was First Encounters, which is the mixed reality game. So I did it in the room that I'm currently in, which is a smaller room. It's probably about 3 meters by 4 meters, probably this room. And essentially you put on the First Encounters and it scans your whole room. So when it scans and then it puts the walls where it thinks it's going to put the walls. Now, a little bit different in my room because half of my room is the high ceiling and then the second half it dips down just a little bit. So it obviously couldn't recognize that dip. So I had to just use the biggest ceiling, and that was the easiest part of that.
Really, it didn't use the closer ceiling.
No, unless I actually physically moved it myself. I actually used the top ceiling. I think it depends. So
Okay, go on, because that would affect this game.
Yeah, so it depends because later on I let my partner use it and we went into our main bedroom, which is a much bigger room. Like it's probably 6 meters by 3 or 4 meters. Like
Right.
it's
None of the
much bigger.
Americans know what you're talking about. Just go on.
Okay, that's true. It's a much bigger room anyway, but it still has that same dip, and it took the dip rather than the higher
When you
ceiling.
dip, I
So
dip, we dip.
I think it just take. I think it just
Let me see
depends.
you Tootsie Roll. All right, sorry.
So with her impressions with the big room, it didn't work as well, but it was still really fun. She had a good time, but like half of the room didn't nothing really happened, just because the room was way too big. But in my room, which was a much smaller room, it worked perfectly. Everything was
Dan,
mapped out correctly. Yeah.
that's very odd because I'm going to skip around here because I did play First Encounters, but
Yeah.
when I did it, I set it up in 3 rooms, and so the way the house is like it's basically 3 rooms that circle like a central wall or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you got like a living room, a kitchen, and a dining room all connected. And I set it up to be all around there. So I had to like run. I was running around,
Everywhere.
and it used the whole thing. So I had
Amazing.
to like run around this like little area here.
That's fun.
We have like vaulted ceilings though, so that's why I asked more about your ceiling. It just used there are like 2 beams, and it just made the whole ceiling at the beams, which
Mm-hmm.
I guess I preferred. But it did look weird when it like cracked at the roof. What should look like it's really cracking your roof or your ceiling, and it was just like in nowhere.
Yeah,
So it's
I
like,
agree. When that was happening, the crack at the start of the roof, so there's a spaceship that comes down from the top, and half of the wall was cracking, and then the other half it just went through, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay, that's fair. But with the game, with first encounters, I absolutely loved it. So I mentioned with the pass-through, I was very disappointed because of how grainy it is, and it is super grainy when you're not in like natural light, and even then it is a bit grainy, but mostly when you're playing in the evening. But with first encounters, essentially all the whole walls turn into potential virtual spaces. So there's little like blob aliens kind of thing who like crash through the wall from their virtual world, and when you shoot the wall as well, it cracks the wall even
yeah,
more, so it opens it up into the virtual world, so you're in your room, but then you've got like windows into the virtual world where you can shoot your gun through as well and such. And I thought this was amazing. I thought, okay, I am sold on mixed reality. I know exactly why they would have this as a demo. It looks amazing, and it makes me excited for the Stranger Things VR experience that's coming in November, because I can see a lot what they can do with that, where you can really start off in mixed reality, and then portals were open for the upside down world, which is the other universe, shall I say, for Samson who've not seen it.
yeah.
And then you could probably walk through a portal in the middle of your room, and then it takes you into the virtual room. I can see that happening, and I can think that's going to seem really well. So I loved First Encounters. What about you? What do you think about that game?
I'd say I enjoyed it. I really liked like the idea of it and how it was, I thought it's a really cool intro
Yeah,
to mixed reality. I
it's a
think it does
basic, it's a basic
it does,
game.
it's a wave shooter, right, where you're trying to get as many points as possible or whatever.
Yeah,
It's fun, but I wouldn't like go back to that. I don't really care about my high score for it, and I'll
no,
probably like use it to show off my Quest 3
correct.
before I get people into the other games. I all right. I guess I'm not going to use it when I'm alone. If I'm with people, even not like maybe we've played a few times, or like maybe I want to have like a family game night with my family. Um, that would be one of the options, I'd say.
I agree. I think this is just a demo. That's all it is. But it's just a really fun demo. It's like
Yeah,
the stuff like First Encounters and First Hands. Like I'm not really going to play them again. But when I show other people, maybe I put them in there first just so they can get used to it, or just see. And with that mixed reality thing, I think First Encounters is a great demo. I was going to
it's
say
definitely a good one. Yeah.
really quick on the pass-through kind of thing. On the Oculus menu now, on the settings, you can press pass-through, and it can just go from pass-through to virtual. I'm not sure if it had that in the Quest 2, or maybe it does now. But the way it goes from virtual to pass-through and back and forth, it's really nice. It like just fades over you and fades off, fades over.
I haven't done
off.
that yet, but I've seen it in videos.
And it's really smooth, and like there's no here it is, now we're in pass through, or now we're in, it's very smooth. The to be fair, the user interface has been, still it sucks in a lot of places, and I'll talk about that later, but in terms of like it crashing or bugging or anything, everything loads quickly and everything's great, and it's so far.
I've only had one crash, and it was in a game.
Fair enough. So what else are you playing? That was the first one, but what else have you been playing? Give me another one.
Well, I'll reiterate, I'm not sure. That was definitely not the first thing I played, but I did play it very early on.
Fair enough.
So Quake 2 still makes me sick. That's awesome.
That is a port.
Yeah, I tried playing the Team Beef Quake 2 because I was like, all right, I've reinstalled all these. Usually I just like having them there just in case I want to play them or show off to people or whatever. But yeah, it's so freaking fast. And I tried. I pushed through a little bit, but I was like, yeah, I can't. I need to mess with these settings again.
That's fair.
Cubism, I guess I'm trying to beat it again. I've been solely playing that in mixed reality, so I'll just be hanging out in the living room. My dad will be watching TV that I can like kind of see enough. It's like the news, right? I'm not like watching a TV show, but I can hear it. I'm kind of with him. I can talk if I need to, and I'm just like doing puzzles. Gets the job done.
I put Cubism on too, and I get really stuck in Cubism. I can't wrap my head around it for some reason, and maybe I just need to spend
just
more
randomly
time
put things in. Just start going without thinking.
I felt I was doing hand tracking, and then I put my partner in it too, and she loved it because she loves puzzle games, but both of us kind of found the hand tracking a little finicky, and I don't know if that's just because of the lighting in the bedroom is more like yellowy light rather than just proper bright, sunlight kind of feel. But they're still
losing your hands.
No, it never lost it. It was just like when you're trying to rotate, it kind of got a little bit finicky. Doing it is easier with the controllers. I
find it annoying to rotate with my hands anyway.
Yeah, I would still continue playing that game with hand tracking. I think it's much more fun in hand tracking, especially in mixed reality, because you can walk around it and it's all spatial. And I guess you could do that in virtual, but it's like more fun doing it in mixed reality. So I would happily continue playing that game in mixed reality. I think Cubism's a great one for it.
Dan, a little side note here, because you've mentioned your partner a few times getting in VR. What's the likelihood, 128 ends up in your partner's hands one day?
I think I've got a lot. She thinks that VR is not ridiculous, but she doesn't get it as much, right? She loves Walkabout. Every time I put her in
co-location games.
Yeah, every time I put her in Walkabout, she has a great time, and she can't wait to play the new course, which got announced, which is coming out next week. We'll obviously talk about it next week because we can't talk about it right now. But she loves playing Walkabout. She has a great time with it. But when I gave her the Quest 3 yesterday, I specifically didn't put her in a Walkabout, and I was like, okay, I put her in First Encounters, which she loved.
New stuff. Yeah.
Cubism, which she loved. I put her in... What else did I put her in? There was one other one I can't remember, and then I put her in the Wolves in the Walls, just so at least she could see that, and she got really into that. Good October one, actually. Yeah. It is a good October one, yeah. I can't remember the other game for some reason; it's escaping me. But she had a great time, and she wants to get back into it. But we are far away from the point of her getting one, or at least me like going, "I buy you one," because I feel like she won't use it as much. But we are gonna try.
You know what? She might be you. Whatever is rumored to be the low cost headset of next year.
Yes, exactly.
That could be it. All right. Anyway, moving right along. I'll go back to my games.
Go on.
Coaster Mania. Coaster Mania is a roller coaster game,
right?
Where you make a roller coaster like it's a toy roller coaster, kind of like, right? Like you can kind of just guide it. You can build however you like. You can add chains, you can add boosts, etc., and then you can ride it. And then there's a lot, which is there's a sandbox mode, and then there's, I forget what the mode's called, but it has a lot of other people put up their creations. And there's a whole lot of crap, Dan. There's a whole lot of crap. I did not try a lot of them. One was just like so bonkers. I just wasn't interested in trying it. It was just dong, 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 dong. Like it was a roller coaster that couldn't exist because the track went into it, so like through itself at different points. I made, and you can use it in mixed reality, which is why I picked it up. So I made like a roller coaster. I've got some contract work going on in the house right now, so there's not a lot of space. But it's kind of cool to build the roller coaster in your space. When you ride it, though, you're obviously in VR world. You're not. It doesn't look like you're riding around tiny on your in your space, which would be ideal and cool, but likely impossible. And when you go fast, it narrows so much by default. I felt like I was looking through an eyelid on like vertical. So I turned that off real quick as soon as I could. And honestly, it didn't give me motion sickness. And I did some like, I didn't really push it, but I pushed it a little bit. Like I was going pretty fast in some of these roller coasters. But what I kind of want to do is design coasters that are based on real roller coasters in that. Because there's just a whole lot of crap that's been made, and none of it looked too appealing. I like the idea of it. It's definitely in like early access, and this is the game that crashed. Right. Because you can. What I was trying to put everything in my play space, but because the contractor's here, there's just like tables and stuff around. Yeah. Like, so I was trying to add them in, and I think I overloaded it. But yeah, I forget how much it is, honestly. Yeah. But if you're into roller coasters and or just designing roller coasters for other people to ride, then I recommend it. It is everything. Like, you're not going to be duped. Like, it is Coaster Mania. It's roller coasters. There's no like story. There's a sandbox of making roller coasters.
What you see is what you get.
Exactly. Thank you for putting those words in my mouth. Those are the words I was looking for. You want to go?
So there's a lot of mixed reality games that I tried, and I do want to get into them at some point. But I want to get into a solely VR game here because I was so impressed, and I'm pretty sure we're allowed to. Oh, Samson's cracked a beer, folks. On
just a grapefruit soda.
So basically, there's a lot of good mixed reality games, but there's a VR game which is not been up. I don't know if it's been updated yet for the public, and I'm pretty sure. Game? Wait.
It's a cliffhanger.
I'm pretty sure there's no embargo for it. I don't think I can show footage, but I had a look and I didn't see anything to do with embargo. Anyway, Hubris is what I'm talking about.
I don't think I don't think it's come out yet.
No, I don't think Hubris has come out yet. But I had a look before this podcast and I couldn't see anything to do with an embargo. So if
but I don't think do you have the update? Oh, you already have the upgrade.
I have it. Yeah,
see, I don't have the upgrade. Yeah.
I will, after I'm editing this, I will double check to make sure, but obviously you won't be able to hear this if I would have cut it out.
When is it out?
I don't know. I asked them and they didn't say anything.
I see. Yeah, I asked too.
I asked them and they ignored me and just sent me some more information on how to download the update, so never mind. Anyway, Hubris is fantastic. I assume
you haven't gotten further than you got in PlayStation.
No, I did 2 chapters in PlayStation. I got to chapter 3 and then I stopped, right? And in the PlayStation 2 a PSVR 2 version, it was phenomenal. The graphics look incredible. Maybe the graphics in Red Matter 2 look a touch better, but they do look really good in Hubris. So I played it. It played obviously the Quest 3 version, and at the start, I couldn't tell the difference. I was like, oh my gosh, this looks exactly the same. And I was so happy to play Hubris in this mode where I'm not tethered. And when I'm also climbing, I'm not pressing those terrible grip buttons that are on the actual PSVR 2. And we've actually got proper grip buttons again. not to shoot on the PSVR 2 too much, because it still looks nicer than the PSVR 2.
Yeah, we love you, game cats out there. Keep listening.
Yeah. So obviously you go through the tutorial and everything looks sharp. It looks great. Indoors, it looks fantastic. And one of the biggest things that I noticed, and we'll talk more about the graphics in a second, is the audio on the Quest 3 itself. I forgot to talk about the audio. Right at the start of Hubris, there's this guy, like this, comes at like a hologram and starts giving you like some orders. And if you turn around or go look to the left or something, the spatial audio in the Quest 3 is incredible. It's so good. And plus the speakers are so loud. So just be wary. Like if you're playing with someone, everyone can freaking hear everything that you're doing, because it can get so loud.
I was wondering, so like your partner could hear everything.
She could hear everything.
Because I don't have anybody to be like, hey, can you hear this? It's just me.
No,
but it's like I'm using a volume setting on the Quest 3 that if I had used that same level on the Quest 2, it would have been pretty much mute. Like I wouldn't have been able to hear anything. It's insane. I think I'm on like 4. Like I got level 4.
I'm on half volume. And it's still pretty loud. Like the speakers. Okay, get it. Like I've seen some random tweets from people or people saying that, oh, the speakers are still trash. I don't know what they're talking about. The speakers are phenomenally, really well improved. They're still not going to be as good as headphones. Of course they're not.
These are audio snobs,
but I'm a person who would not bother ever putting headphones in, to be honest, unless there's someone else in the room. That's the only time I would potentially do it. They sound fantastic, and I'm pretty impressed with the actual speakers, and the spatial audio is vivid, and you can hear all the little details that you would definitely not hear on the Quest 2. I never thought the Quest 2 speakers were awful, but they were not amazing either. Like, it was a significant difference if you put headphones in. These ones, they're fantastic. And I think maybe that's why the band on the actual Quest 3 is much longer than it was on the Quest 2. So I don't know if that's to do with how better the speakers are and more space to kind of room with. But yeah, the speakers are much better. I don't know if you noticed that at all, or...
I mean, I noticed they're way louder. I think still for breachers and synth riders, they'll probably still prefer headphones. But certainly for mixed reality and things like this, when you want to be able to hear what's going on outside.
If you're casually playing, for sure, you're going to be fine.
It'll get the job done. You could even play in like a noisy airport or something and probably be fine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But so the last thing on Hubris I want to say is that I didn't play through much of it. I was in there for like 10 minutes or something because I just wanted to check out the graphics. So I did the actual start of the game where you swim out and then you obviously see the world. And that
wow moment.
Yeah, it looked really, really good. It looked really, really good. You could tell. That's when I finally started to tell where, okay, this is not as good as the PlayStation VR 2. Because after I did the initial climbing and you get to like the cave, I looked back at the water and the water looked good, but it didn't look as good as PSVR 2 and the distances as well. And I was like, okay, that's where the slight differences are. But honestly, if you're just rocking the Quest, if that's your only headset, this is a significant upgrade. And of course, we haven't tried. I haven't tried Red Matter 2 yet. There's also games like Walking Dead being patched. You've got the new games coming out this year, like Bulletstorm, Asgard Wrath, and all that stuff. So, you know, the difference, what I've noticed in Hubris was massive, because all the other games that I played was actually mostly just for mixed reality. Hubris was probably the only game that actually got the visual upgrade, and I noticed it massively. It was very impressive.
I haven't been so lucky to get the Quest 3 upgrade, I don't think yet, so I'm just waiting for that to release. But moving right along back to mixed reality. Back to reality. I did play a full VR game, but I'm gonna get to that at the end, so not spoilers.
Fair enough.
Next one. So with my, I don't know, I think it's because I bought it from Best Buy. I got Game Pass for a month for free. So I went ahead and started that month, and I figured why not bust open Transcend VR, which is a mixed reality app where you get a big screen and you log into Game Pass. It makes it pretty easy. I don't know if it's better than playing in the browser or not. And I linked up my Xbox controller. I guess this is for the one, not for the whatever the new one
Not
is.
for the Series X. Yeah.
Because I don't have that one, but it's synced up pretty good. And I started playing Starfield, and it works, and that's about all I could say. The input lag is it just isn't there. Like, you don't want to have to play this game this way. I'm not sure what games.
Did you say there's no
Like,
impact? Wait, did you say there's
no,
no
I said
input?
there's a lot of input lag.
Oh,
Like, I
yeah.
hit the thing, and then I see, like, I was all right until I started fighting the first pirates I had to shoot, and then
Yeah.
I couldn't aim at them. I would go past them,
Yeah.
and I soon thereafter quit. So it makes me a little nervous for whatever they've got planned for Game Pass. But I hope that they figure out something with that input lag. I assume it's a Bluetooth input lag.
Oh, okay. So you're not saying it was a stream input lag; it was an input lag via like controls.
My
Like you
controller.
push a button and it'll be much.
Oh yeah, the screen looked great. For the most part. I mean, it's streaming into my headset. And Starfield, I guess there's a lot of people playing, so I had to wait 9 minutes. But
That's fair.
yeah, that all was great. It's the input lag on my controller that's very noticeable. I should or could try playing wired controller, I guess. And see if that makes a difference. But yeah, you don't want to deal with the Bluetooth controller.
Also, it's going through transcend as well. Like, I expect what they release is going to be really good, and I wonder if Meta will start selling Game Pass bundles where, like, on the website you can buy, on the actual Meta's website you can buy Game Pass and an Xbox controller or something like that, or buy an Xbox controller for your Quest and you get 3 months free of Game Pass Ultimate or something like that. I can see them doing something like that just to get people using it for sure. And I will be one of those people because I don't have an Xbox controller. If only Xbox controllers work with it, but who's to say? Normally it's going to be fine. But I think also you're using Game Pass, you probably want an Xbox controller more than a PlayStation one to play these games, which is fine. Moving on. A game that I actually really worked really well in mixed reality, 11 table tennis. 11 table tennis.
That's on my list, but I don't have the space for it now. How was it?
So 11 table tennis, think about it. It's a table tennis game. You need to be wary about your surroundings, right? You got to make sure you got that guardian mapped out nicely. So if you're in a smaller room like I was in, you don't want to be worried about hitting the walls or anything like that. So I put the mixed reality mode on, and almost half of the table got cropped out with my desk and such because it was so long. So, it is what it is. But the actual having it,
but you can still see the table, right?
I can still see the table. Yeah, it was just like the end of the table was kind of cropped out, but I kind of see the guy. So I was like hitting it into random space because he was in the wall.
That would make it hard for seeing it coming back at you.
Yeah, because he was in the wall and such. So next time I'd probably just stand or go into a different room and stand in a way where it can be lengthways really long. But it was much more, it's fun in mixed reality because you don't need to worry about your surroundings as much because you can see exactly where you're going. So it actually worked really well. Is it better than virtual reality? No, but it is. But if you're conscious of space, there's
no more lag, right? Like, it's the same.
There's no lag.
Game.
No, there's no lag. It's just that you're just seeing your surroundings and you've got the super high resolution. It's a bit weird because the virtual objects are so high clarity and sharp, whereas your surroundings are a bit grainy and such. So, but it is way better than the Quest Pro and Quest 2 is in mixed reality. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
That one has co-location, I believe. So you could play.
Okay. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know.
I think so. So you can play table tennis in a space you have enough room to play table tennis with somebody else.
Yeah. That would be fun, like if you went to a gym, like a school gym or something like that, and you had a lot of space and you could play.
It's like ideal for having a party room, right? Where you have a room that's a lot of space.
Yeah.
And with mixed reality, you can make that literally a gaming room with anything, which leads me right into I played 4VR bowling in mixed reality.
Oh, that's on my list. How was that?
Yeah. And that was pretty cool. I had a enormous bowling lane going through through my living room. And yeah, it was very cool. I was like hanging out with my mom. She was like on the couch there, and I was just bowling. We weren't really talking or anything, but I could see her. And honestly, if you're playing bowling alone, you don't need the VR world
No.
at all, in my opinion. And this is a good situation. Once again, I feel like if you're like kind of into sports but don't really feel the need to watch the sports, these things are great to have on like a TV, and then you can be bowling right next door, and you can turn and see, or you can listen, and you can be doing your bowling.
Yeah. Have you tried it with the TV on? Have you seen like what does it look like with the TV?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my dad was watching CNN. The big headline things or whatever at the bottom, I could pretty much read. Every once in a while, the TV would like, you know how you'd kind of see lines go up sometimes or whatever.
Yeah.
It would be like a black mass that just sort of took over the whole TV real quick. But on the whole, I could tell that it was the news, and I could hear it fine, and I could tell what was going on and read some of the text.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess I could try to watch more variety of TV shows while in VR.
Yeah, I thought when I looked at my phone, you can definitely read your phone. It's just that it's weird. A lot of people are not going to have this experience, but when I got a laser eye surgery, it's like when you had first laser eye surgery and your eyes feel a little bit watery, but you can still read your phone, but it's a bit it feels like a layer of waters on your eyes, so it's a little bit wavy in a way and such, and that's kind of what I can think of when I can look at my phone. It works if you want to reply to a text or something, but
I was going to say that's what I was mostly doing, was replying to texts. With it on. It is warped, but I can manage.
I just have one more because basically there's two games, Smash Drums and Pistol Whip, that I tried to do it, but Smash Drums I couldn't find the mode, and then I realized that it wasn't actually pushed out the update until today, so I never got a chance. And then same with Pistol Whip, I thought it was also pushed out, but it's not till tomorrow. So by the time everyone's listened to this, there's Smash Drums, there's Pistol Whip.
I didn't realize Pistol Whip had one.
Yeah, Pistol Whip
Plus, yeah.
They keep like I put out a YouTube video on launch day with all the updated launch games as well as a few of the big ones for the rest of October, and it's already out of date in a way. Like a lot of those still apply, but there's also a lot more that I'm now missing because everyone just keeps
another video, dude.
Yeah, just more. So yeah, I would recommend to everyone, because I obviously can't play it yet, but if you have Golf Plus, make sure you play it on your Quest 3
Does
tomorrow.
that have mixed reality, or is it just like a graphics overhaul?
It's it's a massive one though. It's changed the color palette from like more of a cartoony color, or not a cartoony, more of a pastel color, or also to actual like real life textures. Like the textures in Golf Plus have been flat on the grass and such. Like now it's going to have like real life textures and such. And I think it's going to look really good, and I can't wait to try it out. But I'll talk about it next week, obviously. But the last one I did was Piano Vision, which I was very hyped about.
I also tried that one.
And obviously I don't have a keyboard, so I used it in a virtual keyboard, and it actually worked pretty well, to be fair.
Did you put the keyboard on a table or a desk?
Yes, yeah.
So you feel the haptics.
Yes, so I was on the desk, so when I push down, I push on the desk, basically. And I did it basically the size of my like desk mat that I've got here, and it actually worked. Like it wasn't perfect.
Do you play piano?
No.
Okay.
I learned to play a lot of the piano for one whole year when I was 15, and I've not touched it since. So a lot of it I can't remember, but it was cool. It did work. I feel like it would be better if you did have a real piano or a MIDI keyboard is what they recommend, which would be really cool, and then you can really learn the piano. I think it's a great idea. Mixed reality, it's as good as the hand tracking it is, in the end of the day. The mixed reality portion was good, but
I thought this was amazing. To the point where I spam texted a bunch of friends seeing if I could find a keyboard, and I found one.
You did?
One of my friends has one in a storage unit. I'm going to tomorrow.
Nice.
And I was like, "Can I borrow it?" He's like, "Dude, you can have it." So
amazing.
And he was like, I don't know if the power cord's in it. My response was, honestly, I don't even really need power. Like that. I think you can have it set up too. So like it knows when you're pressing the keys actually, but like really, I want the feeling of,
That's all you need.
so
Yeah.
I love the, like, it's good enough, right? But when especially for the level 0 songs I was doing, but once I tried a level 3 or maybe a 2 where you start hitting the black keys, I need a way to actually differentiate, because it if you get near it, it's just like, yeah, you're good, good.
Yeah. It accepts it. There's quite forgiving in that mode for sure.
Yeah.
Do you know how to play piano already, or not?
Nah, and I got tiny little fat fingers. My hands are not made for piano, but I friggin' love it. And so I want to get this keyboard, and who knows, maybe I'll make some content on it, but at the very least, my goal is to try to just practice and then talk about it here at the
That's
very
cool.
least. So
Yeah, that's really
we'll
cool.
see.
Any other games did you try?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go for it.
So I hopped into Synth Riders real quick, mostly just to get the stuff installed. For right off the bat, so crispy.
Yeah,
So
nice.
crisp.
I downloaded it, but I haven't got into it yet, so that's on the list.
And then Neodori Infinity, the little car game I like with the drifting.
Oh, yeah,
that got a Quest 3 update, I believe. It looked the same, but better.
Yeah.
It was like really crisp, and I was just like, "Wow, everything!" And I can't tell if it's the game or just the lenses, like, or both, right?
Yeah.
But everything is so dang crisp. Oh,
I think it's the lenses more than anything, but obviously having the updates, it helps a lot, because I've been in some of the games that I tried. Obviously, I think Smash Drums would have been that, where it wasn't updated, but it still looked. I was like, is it updated? Is it not updated? Because it kind of looks really sharp and crisp. So I'm curious to see what it looks like now if I go into it, you know. But everything looks amazing already. I downloaded Beat Saber as well, but I haven't played it yet because I wanted to get into the Linkin Park stuff.
Me too.
And the new Linkin Park environment looks really vibrant with the lights and everything like that. And I was like, oh, okay, this could be really cool in the new Quest 3.
I definitely want to try it. Dan, that reminds me, though, I should have said this at the start of the pod, because we probably lost at least 75% of the people. But I finally compiled a Google Doc of all of my meta referral links, 165 of them. And I think we should start putting the link to that in the description. Both for the viewers,
right,
the listeners, if you will,
right,
mostly. And I happen to get $5 too.
I realized the other day I actually have referral links now. I can do the same. So
snap.
So I can actually make basically I'll take your Google Doc and I'll change all the codes without saying. Just put all mine in there.
I mean, it'll be maybe a quarter of the games.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll have to buy all the games.
That's true. You have way more games than me. That is true. Perfect. Any other things that you?
Yeah. So I got one more mixed reality I tried, which is Skybox VR, which I had tried in the Quest 2 as well, but it was obviously grainy. It's still Skybox VR. It's just now you have that. The color pass through?
How does it feel watching a TV show or movie with that color pass through?
All right, so generally I'd say when you're watching a movie, you want to be in a dark room, like in a movie theater type of atmosphere, There's a reason there's not a lot of lights on at the movie theater, I take it. I don't know. But if you're in a situation where you want to be more aware of your settings, like maybe you've got kids around or something like this, I don't know. What's the kid? But yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'll watch a lot of movies that way, but for my test, like, it worked seamlessly and worked how I expected it to. once again, I suppose if somebody was making you watch sports and you're like, fine, I'll come hang out because I like you, but I don't like sports, so I'm going to bring my Quest 3 and then I'm watching a movie while y'all are watching sports.
I'm wondering, the reason why I asked is because the Xbox Game Pass advertisement was in mixed reality and they're kind of showing it off in mixed reality. And I'm wondering what that will look like, because I wonder if there's a way that they can lower like the brightness or something like that of the external world. I don't know if that's called local dimming, and that's what Quest 3 doesn't have. I don't know if that correlates, but
in Cubism, in the pass-through settings, I saw something. I believe it said brightness.
Yeah,
I didn't mess with the settings, but I did.
You can turn down the brightness, you can turn down the sharpness and such. So yeah, maybe that answers the question of that'd be cool, because then you could be in your house still, but you can dim it down, and therefore it won't look as grainy, I guess, because you've dimmed it down and such. So yeah,
good point.
Fair enough.
And then previous to my Quest 3, I got into Breachers last Friday. They've got XP now, so I love it even more. Breachers, chef's kiss. I never would have thought that I would love that game, but I really do love it.
I think they're working on a Quest 3 upgrade. I think they tweeted about that recently, which will be exciting.
It needs more maps, but they keep doing work. So and they've earned it. Hyperdash is great. They kept up with it and then made it free, and they got me. They got my trust.
Yeah, perfect.
Hopped into Flight Sim a little bit.
Yeah.
So I had to reset my computer, and I noticed that everything was running way better, because it was obviously like a brand new computer kind of. And so I was like, let me try Flight Sim. And I was losing frames, Dan. And I have Flight Sim set on like medium settings. There are a boatload of settings, and I'm sure something's maybe not ideal. But then I found DLSS, like NVIDIA DLSS, and I turned that on, and
smooth.
Everything was so much smoother.
Nice.
It was bonkers. Nice. So I gotta hop in that again, but now I'm glad I figured out how to make it smooth.
I remembered what else I played. I forgot to mention,
because I've only got one more. Go.
Okay, perfect. I played Vermilion as well, the painting app. I jumped into that. I actually did both, but then I preferred it in virtual, where it was like on the river setting and there's a mountain behind you. I actually preferred it.
It's way more beautiful than your tiny room.
Yeah, it's way more. And plus, it was so grainy, and I was like, I want to just do it in virtual. And I didn't play much Vermilion on Quest 2, so I can't really tell the difference and such. But because I can't paint to save my life, I was mixing colors galore, and then I just wrote my name. I just put Dan. And I could see in the strokes, there's a lot of clarity in the strokes. And I don't know if that was there before. I know it's been updated, so it might just be me looking at it. But I messed around in that. I'm excited one day, maybe in the next few weeks, us in the Discord can do a group of 4 or something and do like a Vermilion paint party.
Oh, I saw Empire Monkey was saying painting VR is trying to get some multiplayer or something going on.
Yeah,
that is in my library. I don't really have the time to do it right now. I got a friend coming in from out of town and all that jazz.
So what is your last game before we get into our overall thoughts so far?
Dan, I'm really burying this here deep into this podcast, but there's some lore around LTO that I don't tend to finish games. So
you and me
finished
both.
a game. I finished a game, Dan. I finished a full-on game, and that game was Star Wars Squadrons.
Oh, sick. Nice.
Yeah, it took me about 9 to 10 hours on easy mode. And I think the game's supposed to take about that long.
Sure.
And like the last 4 missions, friggin' epic, especially in VR. I'm not great at flying dogfighting, especially in space. I just like go back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't have any sense of Because I feel like when I would play flying games, I would always do them third person, so you can see your ship flying around and things. Whereas I'm in this TIE fighter, I can only see like right in front of me. There's no windows. I got no peripheral vision. But I do love it. It feels so good,
Yeah.
and the worlds feel cool. You're flying through crap that's cool. Everything's cool in Star Wars Squadrons, and it's 14 missions. And once I looked up how many missions there were, I was just like, all right, I got this. So yeah, I crushed, I think, up to like 7 or 8, and then I got up to 10 or 11, and then I did the end of it. Very good, very good. I highly recommend it.
It's one of the games that I miss that I just don't have the PC for, because like obviously I can get it for PlayStation and such, but I want the VR part of it because I think that's what's really cool about it, and that's one of the games
way
that
cooler in VR.
Yeah, if I had a PC, that would be one of the first titles I'd play, I think, because I missed out on that.
It did at one point. It was crashing at the end of a level when I was in VR. I was like, all right, let's just see if it'll get through this cutscene if I'm out of VR. So I left VR and it got through it, but then it started obviously playing in flat. So like, all right, let's get a feel. And I was just like, damn, you can't see anything. Like, this is terrible. There's no immersion.
Did you notice a difference using the Quest 3 with the PC VR? Obviously with the lenses.
I did not use the Quest 3 on PC VR yet.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Very well. Very well.
I have booted into Link. I forget what for, but yeah, I don't think I've played anything on it yet. I bet it'll be clear though. I bet it'll be clear.
I bet it'll be a bit sharper. All right, so to wrap up part 2 here, let's kind of wrap this conversation up here in our overall.
Do you want my overall thoughts here, or is that for later?
No, okay. That's for now. Yeah, okay. That's what I was gonna.
Do you want to go?
Okay, so yeah, right. My overall.
You go with yours. My
overall thoughts after the first, I say 48 hours, but really it's been 3 hours of how much I've played. I love it so far. I cannot wait to change the head strap. That's my main thing. I can't wait to get like a Halo head strap that I've now been used to from the PlayStation VR. You want that kind of head strap back. I'm a big fan of the controllers. I'm a big fan of how sharp it is. We were saying before the pod, when you put the Quest on it, it's in pass-through mode straight away as default. And I always forget that it's on. Like, I'm like, oh, do I need to still turn it on and such? I'm just thinking after I can see straight through it. But no, it's in pass-through. And I've kind of like it. I like the pass-through mode more than the virtual mode now as my home, which even though I think the pass-through was overhyped pre-launch, to be honest. I don't think it's as good as what a lot of people said it was. But having your home in pass-through is actually really, really nice. I've impressed by that. I really like the look of it. It looks much bigger now that I got the Elite strap on, to be honest. Having the soft strap, it did show how small and tiny it was, which is the only thing I miss from the soft strap, if there's anything to miss. And I honestly just can't
everything
wait.
Gets bigger when it's hard.
And that's the end of the podcast. The main thing is I cannot wait till the games to come out. I cannot wait for more of these updates to come out to the games that we have. Into the Radius just got an update, and I've never played that. Yeah. I've downloaded it and never played it, so that's something that I want to get into. And plus, I cannot wait for Assassin's Creed. But the main thing, actually, I cannot wait for Seventh Guest, because I think that's going to look really good on the Quest 3, and that's out on the 19th, so in a couple of weeks' time, which I think is going to be quite scary, but I think it's going to be really good. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts. I'd give it, like, after the first few hours, I'd give it like an 8 or 9 out of 10. I would say it's let down by the strap, which you have to buy, which is not a big deal because you can replace it, and it's let down by, I think the hype for pass-through was just way too much, and all of the trailers...
I didn't let it get the best of me,
All of the trailers are like, oh yeah, this is going to be pristine. It's going to be pretty good. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be pretty good. And I was like, I feel
like the Apple Vision Pro pass-through talk got convoluted with the Quest 3 pass-through talk. And some people started to expect that
Probably, yeah, probably.
Uh,
I definitely expected it to be clear, but in the end of the day, you get reminded that it is $500 base price. In the end of the day, the Apple Vision Pro is like 3 or 3.5 or how
for
much it is. So
Yeah, because for me, it wasn't the clarity. It was like, oh, cool. It wasn't like I was going from standard definition to high definition. I was going from black and white TV to color TV.
yeah, that's exactly
Like,
right.
right? Like, I didn't expect it to all of a sudden be ultra clear. I
That's true.
expected color.
That's very true.
And that's
That's
what I
very
got.
true. I'm also just a last thing on this, and then I'll go to you. I'm also really excited to try more like TV apps, and when big screen gets updated soon, which they're working on, and also trying something like immersed VR to see how remote desktop in VR kind of looks like, because it is so much sharper than the Quest 2. I wonder if
Yeah.
it's actually going to work really well for Quest 2, because Quest Pro, it was like it was sharp, but then it also lacked in power, so the other screens weren't as good. So I'm excited to try that. And
So,
Walkabout Mini Golf said they're going to update theirs in December. Is going to be a
ooh,
visual
baby.
upgrade. They're going to focus on their courses first, and then do a proper visual upgrade in December. Over to you.
All right. So, overall thoughts. I dig it. I would say if you're not a heavy VR user, first of all, what the fuck you listening to this podcast so deep, and I appreciate your ears. But I would probably say if you're not a heavy VR user, like wait a year, see what this cheap Quest like that's rumored might be, see what they take out and or like what is in there, uh, and then make your assessment. I don't think there's going to be any Quest 3 exclusives until then. Yes, like these games are getting up to grades or whatever, and they do look better, the ones that I've tried. But once again, if you're not a heavy VR user, like using this thing weekly, I think you're getting by with what you're getting by with. Unless you really super want to try mixed reality, which I'm not quite yet sold on it being the reason you buy it. That said, like Quest 2 went through updates every 4 to 8 weeks. So I'm excited for even what this Quest 3 is going to be like in a year. It might prove itself within that time. I don't know.
It's only going to get better. It's only going to get better.
And if you're not into like if you don't own a VR, if you don't have a VR headset from last generation, then it's probably, a very good upgrade just for the clarity of the pancake lenses. If you're out of this country, you're out of this world. Maybe like a Pico 4 or whatever, maybe you want to keep your eyes on that stuff instead. But I do really like it. I know I'm a heavy VR user. And so yeah, I do love her. I do love her. It's very clear. It's very clear. I do wish it had eye tracking, but whatever.
I don't think, yeah, whatever. But all right, amazing. That will do for part 2. In part 3, we'll go out the games that are out this week, as well as anything else, because I do have a couple things just to throw in, which will be fun. So we'll see then. Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube and Spotify. And also, if you love us so much, then consider throwing us $1 at patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. Back to the show. All right, welcome back to part 3, where we're going to go through the games out this week and anything else really quick. So, Samson, start us off. We have a couple games, brand new games that are coming out for the Quest 3 and Quest 2 and Quest Pro.
Yes, we do. We have Genotype at $30. In Genotype, you explore an Antarctic research base overrun by monstrous beasts, wielding high-tech gloves that print living organisms you can use as weapons and survival tools. You play as Evely, an intern at an Antarctic weather station. During a routine expedition, Evely falls through the ice with the mysterious Snowdrop Initiative laboratories. Luckily, the facility's last human survivor, William, can guide her to save herself and the entire planet. To survive, you must use the grade gloves to print creatures. As you explore the facility, You'll find ways to print new creatures and to modify and upgrade the ones you have access to. Dan, this kind of sounds like that. It wasn't a Rick and Morty, but they made that game where the guns would talk at you sarcastically. But I don't believe this game is like a humorous game like that. But that's what it reminds me of.
It looked interesting to me that you get this very unique where you can 3D print basically creatures and they have like different kind of weapons. Essentially, is what they're using it for. So yeah, interesting. It's not going to be something that I pick up personally, but unless the reviews are amazing. But I got to finish Hubris now that I've got it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't. I guess I'll try to get a key. I think Live Open Mics can have a video about it though. So
Nice.
I don't know. This description doesn't sound like it's necessarily my cup of tea. But, you know, I'm open to trying some things. It's a new year, Dan. It's a new me. I've been finishing games. So
It is a new year. That's your second game, right? You got Hubris and Star Wars now for this year.
And Vertigo.
I'm Vertigo 2.
And Vertigo 2.
You slapped that. Yeah, amazing. All right. Maybe
there might be others that I can't think of.
Maybe you can finish the next game, which is Samba de Amigo Virtual Party, which is also $30. It's time to shake it on center stage in this vibrant rhythm action game. Join Amigo and his friends. So join Friend and his friends in the all-new Samba de Amigo now in VR. Pick up your maracas and groove to 40 hit songs for the world's most popular genres, with even more arriving as post-launch DLC. In MetaQuest 3 and MetaQuest Pro, experience the mixed reality party where you can turn your room into a party venue, or the mixed reality multiverse where you can explore different verses from your world.
You ever played this game?
I didn't know on the Sega back in the day. I didn't. I was never interested in it until it just said this mixed reality stuff, which I kind of want to check out. But I think I'll just watch someone on YouTube or something like that. I don't know. Not for me.
I mean, I do like myself some rhythm games. I like myself some silliness. $30 is pricey. I imagine it's for all the licensed songs in it. It's got a lot of pop music. Honestly, I wish it had more samba. From what I can tell, there's not much. But yeah, if I'm sure if you got a nostalgia for it, you probably pick it up. If you really like rhythm games, you might pick it up. If you just want to dance, you might pick it up. And yeah, what $20? I probably buy this game, Dan.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's talk about anything else. There's a quick few things that I just wanted to mention. One, as I kind of alluded to it in part 2, Walkabout Mini Golf has a new horror course, which I now forget exactly what it was called on top of my head.
Like haunted something.
It's like a haunted mansion, basically. It's all based in. That comes out on Thursday. Actually, no, hold on. It comes out on the 19th, doesn't it? It comes out way much later. Can you double check that whilst we go through?
The 19th is a Thursday.
Oh, wow. That's come around quick. Okay. So the 19th is a Thursday. Oh yeah, hold on. That's next Thursday, not the Thursday you're watching. Okay, that's why I'm getting confused. Okay,
in
perfect.
7 more days.
In 7 more days. That's when the 7th guest comes out as well. Okay, I thought I missed all those games. Anyway, that comes out next Thursday. Pistol Whip as well has come out with a horror theme, which I played a little bit of actually this morning, and I forgot to mention it earlier what we've been playing.
They're doing a bunch of releases, right? They've got like once a month or something.
Absolutely. I haven't been in it for ages, and they've changed the interface and such, but they've got the horror one, which looks really sharp in Pro, and you've got skeletons shooting at you, which is fun. Other thing, really quick, is not spooky. Well, in a way, spooky. It was my birthday the other day, and for my birthday,
happy birthday!
Thank you. And for my birthday, we went to a VR arcade. We went to well, not an arcade per se, but it was Sandbox VR.
The
which is like
location one.
the location based. And we played, it was 5 of us, and we played the Squid game game that just came out like a week before. And I filmed a lot of it. So I'll do a YouTube video on it maybe in November when all the Quest 3 hype
Ooh,
is.
spoilers. How was it?
Well, when the Quest 3 hype's down, then I'll do a proper video on. But it was really fun. Basically, you're using Picos. It's not Pico 4s. I think they were the Pico 3 or the Neo or whatever it's called. Yeah, you're using the Picos, and you basically had tracking. There was like these like 5 chemistry-looking like balls that you'd wear. 4. So you do 2 on your wrists and 2 on your legs. So it has full
like
body
you see
tracking.
actors use for motion.
In a way,
or whatever,
yeah,
or something.
similar-ish. So there's a few more things coming out of it. And
do you have a backpack or anything, or it's all wireless?
Yeah. So you had one on your head as well, and then you basically wore a B haptics vest. It wasn't B haptics; it was a haptics vest from a different company.
Vibrated.
Yeah. It was more like the 16 rather than the 40. And then you would wear a backpack on top, which will be the PC that you're basically wearing. And it was wired to that. And then you'll have your headphones. So everything was pretty.
How heavy is this PC?
Everything was pretty.
You notice?
Everything was pretty heavy, but once you're playing, you don't notice it. But we're in quite a small hall, so like when you do some of there's basically 6 different mini games, or some of them taken from the Netflix series, some of them brand new for VR, and some of them you're just bashing into everybody, but you can see everyone in the game.
You bump into them like
all
IRL?
The time. Yeah, in real life, like so many times. It's funny because it gives you a nice video at the start saying safety, don't bump into your people or don't push them or whatever. And I was like, you've got no chance when you're trying to do like random shapes, trying to fit into a box. Or there was this one where you have to walk over a glass bridge and you have to go either left or right. And if you pick the wrong one,
like
you
in
fall,
the
in the thing. You had Red Light, Green Light, which is the first game in the actual show as well, which is fun because when you get shot, it's just like bang on your chest with it, which is fun. It was great. It was really good. It was really, really
How
fun.
long?
45 minutes or so.
And how much of that was it? Like 15 minutes of getting dressed?
No, so the whole thing was probably an hour then. We literally in there for around 45 minutes.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, it was a whole hour in the end of the day. And then they had cameras, so you get like a highlights video afterwards. In fact, I'll actually put up some pictures up on the Discord
like
tomorrow.
Pictures from like a roller coaster or something. Like
yeah, just a highlights. So basically, it showed like different games and you moving in there and such, and it was really fun. There's a lot more that I could say, but I'll save it for the video later on.
Yeah.
And it's getting late here. We've gone pretty long, but it was really fun. If you have a Sandbox VR, they've just started Squid Game, and it just came out like 2 weeks ago. I would highly recommend it. It's worth, I think it's like $50 US for 45 minutes, which is actually pretty solid because a lot of them are half an hour or less experiences. And because it's full body tracking, it's really fun because you're doing a lot of things with your whole body as you go through these challenges. And I had a blast. I had a really blast. So definitely check it out if there's a Sandbox VR close to you. But it was definitely worth it. So yeah, and then we get to try the Pico, and I'm not gonna lie, the Pico felt exactly like the Quest 2. You could have been mistaken. Like it was exactly the same. This is not the Pico 4. Like I said, this is the bigger one.
Yeah, non-pancake.
Yeah, non-pancake. Perfect. Anything else from you, or is it ready for bedtime? I can see you getting tired.
It's definitely ready for bedtime. I did play one other game, but it was so minor that I'd forgotten. Because I only played for about 15 minutes.
Fair enough.
It was Warplanes Battle Over Pacific.
Yeah.
It feels cool, Dan, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not good at dogfighting.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kept losing on the first level, and I got annoyed, and that's sort of how I ended up playing Squadrons.
Fair enough. Yeah, so it was much more.
I was like, I don't want all this VR controls. I just want a controller.
I
just want to feel like,
That's fair. To each their own. All right, that will do for our podcast. We're recording this late Wednesday night. This will be up the day you're listening to this on the Thursday. So enjoy. If anyone's getting the Quest 3, enjoy. If you're not getting the Quest 3, enjoy us talking about it for the whole 1 hour 40 minutes. I hope you had a good time. We'll see you next week where I believe we'll have a guest on half of the show, but we'll also continue talking more about obviously our Quest 3 experiences as we get more more and more into it. And also, we'll probably talk about Walkabout, but we'll talk after the show about that. But anyways,
What we could talk about.
thanks so much for everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. Join the Discord if you can. And that's everything from me.
Nice. See y'all next time on Let's Talkulus.